Welcome to another 6 by 9 Storyteller episode. Please subscribe and give me a like and share my video if you're enjoying them. Now, let's begin with today's stories.
I spent a week living with my boyfriend. IF19 and my boyfriend M25 have been together for 5 months, almost on to 6. We have been through some really rough patches, but I've been keeping the peace and communication that he is not used to having, which is okay. I lived with my boyfriend for a week because my grandfather went on vacation and I didn't feel safe being alone with another man my grandfather sent to the house. He's my uncle, but he's not around much and I didn't want to feel like I had a babysitter, so my boyfriend agreed for me to stay with him for the week, thinking it would be fun. Recently, I quit my job because of college, currently trying for a new one in retail because that's a part of the career path I want to take. But, besides that, my boyfriend has no issue with feeding and helping me out. So he's usually paying and we have fun together. But, coming with going to work every day and I stay home and do my classes online, it kind of had a toll. He had a terrible week at work. Every day he comes in, quiet and frustrated, and I do my best to keep the house clean. I clean out his room, his bathroom, and sometimes the kitchen because it gives me something to do. And I figures it helps in him not think I'm using his home as a vacation home, which I would never. Though things aren't good where I live. I make sure I treat his place great and he appreciates it. But, here is the problem. When I started staying there it was fine at first. But as his days at work just got worse, he started looking at me like I was the problem. Like I was the thing he needed out of his face when he came back from work. Look, I get that we all need time to cool down after work, but I was never in his way. He comes back to a clean house. I make him food or order food with whatever money I have, even if only have $30. I will spend it to get food for us. But, what I don't like is that whenever he is in his attitude, he always turns to me in our relationship and thinks if he alters our relationship things would be better, like if I wasn't there or reopen our relationship. And he apologizes that, yes, he did tell me that I could stay the week but he doesn't know. Or he needs space. Which I give him. I let him play his game. I let him lay there. I let him suggest the next activity we do together. I thought I was being a good girlfriend, but whenever things go wrong with him, he turns to me like I'm the problem. But, today was the worst yet. He threw his scooter down, his helmet, he threw his bag across the living room and he fucked up the shoes that were next to the door. I calmly got up and let him walk away, still said hello and said nothing. I calmly put his bag away, fixed the shoes and fixed where his bike and helmet was. I turned around and he was there and hugged me. I hugged him. Then we sat watching South Park. But, then after that South Park episode he wants me to go home. Which I didn't actually know that my grandfather was coming back tonight. But, I knew he was gonna kick me out, so that day I had already had my stuff packed. It wasn't even 5 o'clock and he kicked me out. Of course he called an Uber. But, I had a bad feeling. I feel sick and nauseous about the situation, honestly. It doesn't sit well. I just feel like he hadn't considered my feelings sometimes this week either. He left me outside at 11 o'clock at night, outside of his smoke lounge. I saw the sign that they won't let in 21 and over, so I naturally tried to deter him and say I couldn't go inside. But, he did. The lady asked for my ID and being very anxious and terrible in social situations, I gave it to her anyway. The screen was flashing red and everyone in the lounge could see. It just flashed underaged. I was embarrassed on how everyone looked at me. But he went in anyway. He didn't confide in me and say he was gonna be back and check it out quick. He just walked away and said nothing. I stood in the doorway for a bit, but I saw him disappear in the back and the people at the front were giving me nasty stares. So, I sat on the bench in front, but the stares didn't stop. Is it late to say I have paranoia and psychosis at times? So, on impulse I walked down the street, wanting to get away from that. I was planning going back to the apartment, but I forgot the way back and I hadn't brought my phone because it was charging and I forgot to take it. So I just sat at a further bench down the street and teared up. He didn't come out for 15 minutes. So, my mind raced and I was alone with my thoughts.